In today's video, I am going to suggest to you 5 foods to add to your holiday feast to decrease any potential collateral damage. So the holidays are coming up, specifically Christmas, and for those of you who celebrate Christmas, a big part of that celebration is a lovely big feast with friends and family around. And I know that a lot of people feel pretty anxious about this time of year and about the possible loss of gains from a year of, relatively good eating practices. And generally, one of my mottos is once you do good most of the time, you really shouldn't worry too much about a feast when you're going to indulge in a lot of different things. For those of you who are meeting me for the first time, I'm Dr. Amina, and I am a physician and health coach, and I generally help you achieve ultimate health and vitality with simple food and lifestyle practices. All right, so we're going to dive into this video now. And again, I'm suggesting to you 5 foods to add to your lunch or dinner menu this coming Christmas, which if you're listening to it this week, it's just a few days from now. The first one is dark green leafy vegetables, cruciferous vegetables. Those are great because number one, they're full of fiber. And whenever you're having lots of fiber, it means that two things. One, you are basically providing food to the good bacteria in your intestines. And once they are happy, you are happy as well. 2, you are going to cause basically increased satiety. You're going to have an increased feeling of fullness earlier. And so generally speaking, you are going to end up eating a little less. Okay. And then, well, I guess there's a third one as well. When you have a lot of fiber in whatever the meal is, you are going to have a slower absorption of any starch or sugar in that meal. And that, of course, is good overall for your metabolism, right? Another thing about dark green leaf vegetables as well is that they really are very rich in good chemicals. There's polyphenols, phytonutrients, and those things that are good for the overall functioning of the body, as well as good food for the good bacteria in the intestines as well. And then lastly, because dark green leafy vegetables they're rich in chlorophyll. Like chlorophyll is what we have in leaves. And chlorophyll is really another good chemical to help with overall well-being of the body. Another thing I didn't mention too with the dark green leafy vegetables is that they tend to be sulfur rich. And having that sulfur enables the body to produce a very powerful antioxidant called glutathione. And so again, just multiple benefits overall for the body from including dark green leafy vegetables in whatever it is that you're having for this holiday feast. Second thing, and this is not necessarily food, but water. And how can I say, give any recommendations without including water? Now, with, again, Christmas, there are special beverages. There's eggnog, other sweetened beverages in the Caribbean. I'm from Antigua, and there's a special drink we have called sorrel. It's basically like a flower related to hibiscus, which we make a lovely tart drink, and it tends to have a lot of sugar as well. But in between whatever sweetened drinks you might be having, you should definitely not forget to have water. The thing about water is that it helps everything get nicely flushed. It helps with elimination. And once you're keeping your kidneys nicely flushed, it means that excesses of things like sodium, salt, and other, little chemicals, even things like pesticides, just whatever little excesses, you can help the body to efficiently eliminate those things. So don't forget water. If you don't like water, herbal teas, green tea, I love green tea, and green tea of course is very rich in antioxidants and other beneficial compounds, but just basically drinks without any kind of added sugar. The third thing is kimchi. Now, the thing about kimchi is a fermented food. It's a combination of cabbage and carrots, and then it tends to have spices, garlic, and chili peppers. And the thing about kimchi is that it's very rich in probiotics, good bacteria, again, that help feed our intestines and keep everything nice and healthy. The thing about kimchi as well is that in addition to having probiotics, it has good prebiotic fibers. Prebiotics are what the bacteria need to feed on. So you're getting 2 for 1 with kimchi. Kimchi is something that you can have as a side, like a side dish. You can have it on the table, and people, your guests can take, a couple of spoonfuls and add it to your plate. You can have it as a side with the meat. It can be mixed in with a salad. It's very tasty. It might not have the most pleasant smell, but it's pretty tasty. So kimchi is something easy. Just go and get it at the supermarket. Comes bottled and a nice easy addition. It's not that expensive either. Kimchi for good probiotics, good fiber, and other beneficial compounds. The fourth one, nuts. Specifically, my preference is raw nuts just because there's no additives to worry about. You know, there are no inflammatory seed oils and other additives like sugar, like honey roasted nuts, and then salt tend to cause you to overeat them, right? So raw nuts specifically are not as easy to overeat as nuts that are flavored or have additives with them. Good thing about nuts is that you can have them intermittently, and because they're rich in good fats, you know, unsaturated fats, saturated fats, a good combination, healthy combination. They're also pretty rich in protein as well. So even though nuts, and depending on the type of nuts, there may be some amount of starch or carbohydrates in the nuts, because there's a good balance with protein and healthy fats, you are not going to have the tendency to overeat them will be much less. And then also, even though there is starch in some nuts more than others, you're not going to have that big spike in your blood sugar level because it comes with fats and protein. I like nuts too, like specifically before you have the cake, the Christmas cake, you can grab a handful of nuts, okay? Before you have maybe even like a sweetened drink, like grab a handful of nuts, because having nuts, that fiber, and even fiber, actually nuts are rich in fiber, but having it with the fat and the protein is going to decrease the chance of high blood sugars when you do eat your dessert. So you're priming your system, priming your gut with this healthy fat and healthy protein. And so the hit that your body could potentially have from the sugar of the cake or whatever else is going to be significantly less. And you can sort of graze on nuts throughout the whole day of feasting. And like I said, when you eat nuts and things that are fatty, rich in healthy fats, you're not going to overeat. You're going to stay full for longer. So nuts would be number 4. And then the 5th one is dark chocolate, another food that is rich in antioxidants, helpful chemicals, phytonutrients, and so on and so forth. And when I say dark chocolate, I mean at least 70% cocoa or cacao, however you pronounce it. So at least 70% cocoa, meaning that you have a good concentration of all the helpful compounds, right? And compared to regular milk chocolate, which is basically loads and loads of sugar, and not much of the dark chocolate, which is where you get the benefit from. The thing about dark chocolate too is that you're just not going to be able to overeat it, because it has that little bitter taste. And so unlike milk chocolate, where it's sweet and it's easy to just keep eating and eating, for dark chocolate you can't. It's a little bitter, and just because of the makeup of it, you're just not gonna overeat it. Thing about dark chocolate, the way to have it and really enjoy it is to, and I'm not going to say, I'm not a chocolate lover. In fact, chocolate is a trigger for one of my migraines, so I cannot enjoy chocolate like that. But basically, they talk about having it on your tongue in pieces, piece by piece, letting it sit there for several seconds, 15 to 30 seconds to melt. And then you know, sort of feel that, I guess, the sort of almost pleasurable feeling. And then you kind of move it around in your mouth a little bit, and then you swallow it. And you just kind of, it's something that you have to savor slowly. It's not something that you can gobble down. So those essentially are the 5 foods I would say to incorporate into your Christmas or any holiday feast, right? Because of the content of fiber, because of all the good phytonutrients, antioxidants, right? And then generally speaking, you are feeding your body, you're making yourself feel more full and for longer. And additionally, you're feeding the good bacteria in your intestines. And we know more than ever now, and we're learning more and more, that once the good bacteria in the intestines are happy and fed, then your whole body benefits as a result. I hope you all found this post helpful. I noticed I didn't tell you what not to have, because it's not about restricting yourself, right? On special occasions, we deserve to just have a good time with friends and family. It's human nature to indulge a bit, right? But there are certain things that you can do to decrease the negative effects of indulgence, and incorporating these 5 foods, dark green leafy vegetables, water, kimchi, which is a probiotic food, nuts, raw nuts, and you can mix them up, whatever you prefer, and then dark chocolate. Have these, you can buy them this weekend. It's easy to find these things, not terribly expensive, and go ahead and enjoy your feast with your family and friends. If you found this video helpful, share it with somebody else you know, and give it a like. Thanks for watching. Bye.